Right, Adrian, we'll kick off with the big fella Stormboy. How's he going ahead of the slipper?
Yeah, excellent. Looking forward to the Golden Slipper with him. Obviously, he's come out of his run in the Skyline in great shape. I thought he did what he had to on the day and took the necessary improvement. So likely to see him just have an exhibition gallop at the races just in between runs. And I think that'll just top him off nice and have him ready to go.
And Straight Charge came through Saturday all right?
Yeah, certainly did. I think he's in great order. Very tough and honest performance from him, so I was very pleased.
Speaking of tough, Serpentine was a good win first up. Military Mission good behind as well. Both those horses heading towards the Sydney Cup.
Yeah, I think that's we're certainly going to keep that option open for them. They both appear to be in great order. Nice tough effort, as you mentioned, from Serpentine first up. So I think he's going to continue to show nice improvement. I feel it's the best shape we've been able to have him in since we've had him, and Military Mission was very brave carrying that big weight. So once he can find some sort of more suitable races where he's better weighted and better placed under the conditions, I think he'll continue to improve.
And looking towards Friday, Global Pivot, does she go towards Kembla Grange?
She does. It's a bit of a step up in grade for her, no doubt, but she's a filly with a bit of upside, particularly once we can get her to the sort of 2,000 metres and beyond. So once she stretches out in those sort of ranges against her own age and sex, I think that's where she'll be very well placed, but this is the path to put her on.
Looking towards Saturday, the last start Group 1 winner, Tropical Squall. She's in the Far Lap and Coolmore Classic. Will that just be a decision made later in the week?
I'd say the leaning towards the Coolmore Classic for her. That's always been the aim. Just wanted to see how she was weighted in the Coolmore, and it looks a nice option. So it'd be good to test her against the mares there, and obviously a chance to sort of race for another Group 1's high on the priorities with her. And I think she's in great shape, and it's a good race to target.
And she looks like she's come back really strong this campaign.
Yeah, she has. Her first preparation, we sort of had to keep her up for a while. She made her debut as a late 2-year-old, and then it was a quick turnaround for the 3-year-old campaign in the spring. So she never really got that opportunity to sort of get out and develop, and we sort of tried to keep her up to the mark for as long as we could. So off the back of that, having a good spell, she just really matured up nicely and came back a much stronger filly.
And the stable, of course, has plenty of horses going towards a slipper. Looking forward to Saturday, Pago, Johnny the Kid and a Node. They're both nommed. Are they looking forward to that event as well? Yeah,
Pago, a Node I think's in great shape. He's got the he's got the benefit of the experience. I think he's proven at around the grade there, and he had a nice trial in between runs. I think he's where we need him to be going into Saturday. Johnny the Kid coming off a midweek win, bit of a quick turnaround, but I thought he sort of ran very well on debut, so he's open to a significant improvement off the back of that.
And speaking throughout that same race, Southern Charm and Shadow Mirror of Owl go towards a Magic Night on the same day.
Yeah, similarly with Southern Charm, it's a quick turnaround for her, but she was very good on that occasion to win the race. So she deserves a chance at black type. This looks a nice sort of natural progression against stepping back against the fillies here. It's filled with plenty of depth, no doubt. She's going to have to keep improving, but we've placed her in some quality races all the way through, so had a nice opinion of her. And Chateau Miraval, I think, is in excellent order. Her last start effort was very brave in this grade, so certainly I think she looks well placed also.
And speaking of the big horses, Hawaii 5-0, how is the big fella?
Yeah, excellent. He's had 2 nice trials now. Most likely going to resume in a race like the Galaxy. It may be distance that's sort of well short of his best, but I feel to be pretty well weighted in that race, and a nice race to kick him off in. But he'll be heading towards a race like the All Age Stakes later in the campaign.
All right, John, looking towards Kembla Grange on Friday. Last Straw and Harlow Mist to go around in the Kembla Grange Classic.
Yeah, they both galloped today on the course proper and galloped very well. Reece Jones will go back onto Harlow Mist, and she had her first up run in Melbourne, ran a very good 4th, and I think she's improved, so the mile will suit her perfectly. And Last Straw, I think out to a mile will help as well. Both would appreciate some rain. I see they say forecast a little bit on Friday, so that would help them too, but they'll both be in good form.
She was good during the spring, Harlow Mist especially. She looks like she's come back really strong. The trials indicated that, and the first up run certainly did confirm it. Yeah,
and so that'll show us whether we go to the Adrian Knox or we go to the Vinery, one of those two after this into an Oaks. But this is a nice race for her, and I expect her to run well.
And another good resumption was Palmetto. He heads towards Rose Hill on Saturday.
Yes, Adam Hieronymus galloping this morning for the first time, got a feel of him. He's spot on. His 1500 he's got a very good record at. And I expect him to be improved from his first up run. He just came to the end of it the last 20, just got beaten, but he should be spot on Saturday.
And looking towards a potential Derby runner, glad you think so. He heads around Rose Hill as well on Saturday of the 1900 metres.
Yeah, he disappointed last start, but he got on the inside back and just didn't switch on being a colt. So we'll change things on Saturday. I'll whip him up to 1900. He'll run on speed and hopefully he runs well and he'll carry on towards a Derby or a Tulloch first in a Derby.
And looking towards last week, Nyota really warmed up late there, first up at Warwick Farm. Where do we see that galloper next?
She'll go to Hawkesbury next Tuesday. She loves the course there, so she'll just progressively get out in distance over her campaign.
Right, Michael, following on from Ducasse last week, how did he come out of the Guineas?
Yeah, really well. He pulled up well over the weekend and he's just had a quiet week so far this week. So we'll probably head to the Rose Hill Guineas Saturday week.
Perfect. And also another horse heading towards the Golden Slipper, Manal. How's she come up following a last up win?
Yeah, really well. She did a nice piece of work on the course proper this morning and she'll have another gallop next week and hopefully be ready to go.
And looking towards Friday, a Waikato girl, an emerging stayer. How's she going towards the Canterbury Grange Classic?
She's good. She wasn't really suited by the slowly run race at Rose Hill the other day, so I think stepping up to the mile will certainly suit her. She's bred to get probably even further than that, but I'm really happy with her. I think she'll enjoy Kembla and hopefully she can draw a reasonable gate where she can be given a good ride.
And she's getting better every start. Is she potentially heading towards the Oaks?
Yeah, I think, like a lot of these fillies at this stage, she's probably, hopefully heading that way. As I said, she's bred to stay, being out of a Galileo mare, so if she can put up a good performance there Friday, then we look to one of those other fillies races a bit longer and then hopefully end up in an Oaks.
And Mumbai Muse, great to see her back to some form there down the straight at Flemington. How's she come through the run and where do we see her next?
Yeah, it was a much better run, but she had a week off at the farm just cooling her jets and she just came back into the yard yesterday. We'll just potter along with her for a week or two and I'll have a look at they'll probably pick out one of those 3-year-old races in the early part of the championships program.
And a couple of horses from the provincials. Pennick, he's nommed for Wyong on Friday. How's he come back this preparation?
Yeah, he seems in good order. He trialled well here last Thursday, so he'll go to Wyong at this stage, Wyong on Thursday. He'll be a nice horse. He may be one that we end up taking up to Brisbane for something if he measures up.
And another one, Wymark, was outstanding, bolting it at Newcastle. You would have loved to see that. He's nom for the Rose Hill Guineas. Is he another one potentially might go towards the Derby or those staying features?
Yeah, possibly. He's in a benchmark race at Rose Hill on Saturday, and that'll give me a much better idea of sort of which way we're heading with him. If he was competitive in a race like that, then we may look at the Rose Hill Guineas the week after or the Tulloch 2 weeks after, but we'll run him Saturday and see how he goes.
Well, Peter, following on from a good weekend, especially there in Canberra, Zadaki taking out the Guineas and Holmes Court, the Black Opal. Does Holmes Court go towards the slipper now?
Well, I think he will. It's a logical progression and the team are quite keen to have a runner there, so more than likely he'll be there.
And how did Bodyguard pull up on Saturday? It was an outstanding 2-year-old race there, the Todman. Does he go towards the slipper as well?
Absolutely, no. He's put up in great shape. I was really happy with his run. He's missed a bit of work. One thing or another, but the horse is 100% sound and we're really happy with him and looking forward to next Saturday.
And looking towards Friday at Kembla Grange, Russian Conquest, how's she going?
Yeah, look, she's been a bit of a myth really. She's been a filly that's got plenty of ability, but just come race day she brings herself undone. She's just a very moody filly, but she's come back an older mare now and more focused, and hopefully she brings her best to the race because the best is good enough to be winning anywhere. So she's had 2 nice trials and she's going well, so she should present well Friday and be hard to beat.
And also potentially going there towards the Kembla Grange Classic, Queen of Dragons, similar talented little filly, and she resumed quite solidly first up at Rose Hill.
Yeah, I was happy with the run there, over 1,500 metres, and she's come on nicely and just started to show some glimpses of real ability last preparation with a placing a listed race at Flemington during Cup week. So she's a filly we hold in high regard, and never ever thought she'd do it, but she looks the further she's going, the better she's getting. So Looking forward to what she does down there in Canberra, at Kembla, and probably determine what sort of race we tackle after that.
And looking a couple out wide, California Sunrise was a really good first up debut there at Warwick Farm. 2 trials in the spring, tipped back out. She's on for Friday following a quiet trial. Does she head to Goulburn?
We'll think about that. She has got talent, but she's another one that can be a bit cantankerous, but she's going a lot better this time. She started prep off in Melbourne, and she's had nearly 2 months down there before she came up with a couple of jump outs, so she's quite forward. If she does go down there though, she will be very hard to beat.
And looking towards Saturday, the Magic Night Stakes, Drifting comes back to New South Wales from Victoria. How's she going?
Yeah, really well. I was wrapped with the run at Flemington. I thought it was a tremendous performance and very game. 2 starts she's had, she's shown the ability to be in both, and looking forward to Saturday. It's a big step up to 1,200 metres as well, but I don't think it'll worry. She's very relaxed filly and worked very good this morning, so hopefully we're on track.
And also going around Kingaroossow, does he take his spot as well?
Yeah, we pulled him out of Canberra. He drew 10 on Sunday, and we thought this might be a better option, so we don't know the draw is yet, but just thought another week's work up for freshen up, gets him a bit fitter. His one trial has been good, and he's a quality horse, a good form around him, so if he takes his place, which he should, he'll be hard to beat as well.
And how's High Octane pulled out of the Melbourne features? Has he jumped back across the border to New South Wales?
Yeah, he's had a little fresh up. We gave him a couple of weeks off. He's come back in the stables on Monday. We'll decide whether we keep going, head towards a kindergarten, or whether we tip him out and give him a good spell. So that decision we've made the next couple of weeks.
All right, John, the big fella, Cathay Millennium. He was awesome on Saturday, really laying him down to him down the outside. How's he pulled up?
He's come through really well. He's taken a nice step forward, which we'd hoped, and obviously he's going to continue to improve going into the Rosehill Guineas, but he seems to have that area of improvement in him, so yeah, we're really happy with where he's at.
Now, Tom Marquand went back aboard for the first time as a 2-year-old. Does he seem to hold the key to the horse?
Tom's an excellent jockey, and he's a horse that needs some riding and sort of suits Tom, so we were hoping that would trigger an improvement. It seemed to, yeah.
And looking back to the last week, All Hallow Tide had a lot to do at Kembla Grange. That was a nice win. Where do we see that horse go next?
He's going to go through his grades. He's a progressive young staying horse with a good turn of speed, so he did a good job to win the other day, albeit only Kembla on a Thursday, but I thought it was a good effort.
And Natural Deduction, Derby bound as well, following that first up run?
Not in Sydney, probably more Queensland. He's a horse that needs to get some miles into his legs, but he's definitely a staying prospect of the future.
Get a fix after Saturday, pulled up 1 out of 5 lame, the stewards. How's he coming through the run?
Yeah, well, mate, he wasn't lame. We'll have that argument with the stewards later on. I think he just really felt the heat, which is understandable. He really took a while to get over it, despite the fact he's a fit racehorse. So, well, I think we'll just pull up on him, geld him, and come back in the latter part of the winter. He's got a very bright future, and still very confident he's got a lot to offer. So he's pulled up fine.
And looking towards Friday, Waihaha Falls. He go around at Kembla Grange?
Yeah, we will. He just wasn't quite happy with him last week. So we give him an easy few days, coming out of a piece of work this morning, and go around at Kembla on Friday, all going well, and then head to the Doncaster lead up the week before the Doncaster. I think it's a nice race for him at Rosehill. Does
Wendabeniyama join him there?
No, he's just going to wait a little bit. There's a race the following week for him. His horse appreciate a little bit of time, but a very progressive horse all the same.
And another progressive horse, Sun Lord. Is he heading towards Rosehill Guineas potentially?
Yeah, no, he's going to Rosehill on Saturday, but he's more a Tulloch horse. He's got good form, a little unlucky at Canterbury the other night, did a good job, but first go up the trip, so we expect him to be very competitive down the weights on Saturday.
And the very smart Schwartz, how's he come back?
He's come back really well. He's about to trial at Warwick Farm this morning and head to the Derby Munro in 10 days. Yeah.
And Rhythm Love, first up win was impressive, always showing good ability. How's he come through the run?
He's good. He goes to Wyong next week and then go to the South Pacific Classic. Yeah, he's a progressive young horse, likes his run spaced, and I thought his first up win was really good.
And finally, Linebacker, outstanding debut win following a couple of really good trials. Does he head towards a size potentially?
No, he's probably more the Bayou. Go to the Bayou and then we'll work it out. Sort of hope those really good colts beat each other up in the slipper and the size, and we might just come in when fresh legs get to the Champagne.
You've got a really strong team throughout the autumn. You must be thrilled with how especially the young horses are going.
Yeah, no, I've got a good group of young horses that we didn't pay a lot for, so if they can jag 1 or 2 nice races during the autumn, we'll be really happy.
Well, Charlie, thanks for your time this morning, firstly. Thanks for popping out here. First impressions of the horse?
Yeah, look, obviously I came in here last week when she landed, just to ensure she'd settled in nicely for Seb, who's doing a fantastic job looking after her. Being a Group 1 winner and obviously a very valuable mare, it's a lot of pressure on on a young fellow, sort of trying to do his best, and obviously on course on Chris as well and the team at home. So exciting prospect to have, in our team, and she's the real deal. She's a Group 1 winner and aimed at Group 1 targets through the autumn. So exciting.
And of course you have only sort of set eyes on her in the flesh just now, but you've seen a decent amount of Group 1 winners in your time, to say the least. How does she measure up on first impressions? Yeah,
look, obviously as a physical type, she was obviously a cheap yearling purchase, which probably says a little bit about her physical attributes. But look, she's a race mare, is what she is. So she's got all the talent in the world. And Seb just went 3,400 metres this morning, so 15 seconds a furlong. And he just came in beaming, smiling from ear to ear, and was just delighted. Said she feels like a genuine Group 1 horse, and obviously she's going to kick off at that Group 1 grade, so she'll need to be, but she's come over here nice and fit. James Ferguson did a fantastic job preparing her prior to sending her down, as he did with the Yulong horses for us last year. So it's a sort of tried and tested path, and going really well at the moment.
So she's obviously running multiple Group 1s overseas. What was the reason for her to come over here? Because obviously she has nothing to prove.
Well, obviously Yulong are building, and we've already got a complete breeding empire down here, and she's obviously another string to their bow. So it was an obvious move from them to bring her down and bring in some fantastic bloodlines into Australian racing, which is all important. So look, that was obviously their thought behind it, and if she can win back a bit of their purchase price along the way, then I'm sure they're going to be very happy. And also it also looks good in the pedigree book if it's not just European form. So look, she'll probably get a couple of opportunities this autumn, and then I'll certainly leave it up to Chris and the team at Yulong as to where she's best placed after autumn. So she'll come across to Rose Hill on Sunday morning, and then so she's likely to have one more piece of work here, and then move across, and then straight into the Randwick next Saturday, which is obviously not an easy path to plot, but look, a day both times hit before coming down to sort of duel with Very Elegant. He ran in the Champion Stakes at Ascot, which is the exact race that she ran second in on the last start. So it's certainly the right form out of Europe to bring down here, and look, I think she's going to be right in it. Obviously her form is slightly better on a wet track, but we know what Sydney Autumn can throw us. Most pleasing part, I think, today was she's just been completely bomb-proof in terms of her attitude towards work, and I think that'll take her a long way. She's not highly strung in the slightest. She's gone out there on her own right from day one, and there's just no stress about her. She comes in, she has a pick of grass straight after. She doesn't get wound up, and obviously the Australian way of training in the city is quite an intensive part of their training in their lives. So that's often a part where the Europeans can struggle, but being tractable and having a good demeanour will certainly take her a long way. So we think she's adapted well, but I guess we won't really know until the pressure's applied.
You've mentioned that you look for an adaptable type when these Europeans do come over, because of course it is such a different environment. What are the other things that are looked for when bringing a horse over here? What other characteristics? We do pay particular attention to their attitude, and because in Europe there's not so much of a factor put into how they begin from the starting stalls. Whereas down here they need that tactical speed early to hold their position, and then sort of the pace tends to back out of it, whereas in Europe they just let it flow a little bit more smoothly. So I think that's all important, whether you've got that tactical speed. We've seen with plenty of horses that come down here, they struggle to just sort of keep up in that first little bit and then wind and grind their way to the line. So look, that we won't know until she begins out of the starting stalls, but there's plenty of things that go into it. But obviously Chris has bought plenty of horses from Europe, for the last decade, and was really the first guy to really do it in a big way with the likes of Forteller and Moriarty's of the world. So he's got it down to what he thinks is a fine art now. So look, full confidence in the selection process of Yulong, and it's exciting.
Just finally, Saturday, you've got the favourite in the Group 1, Zugotcha. How many are we expecting from the team? Would it be about 5 in total?
Yeah, I think we'll probably just have the 4 runners there, 3 of which are Group 1 winners already, so as a result they all carry a fair amount of weight, but they probably deserve to be. They've got the talent. Obviously Zugotcha's form has been franked from a first up run with the horse that finished second winning the Group 1 on Saturday, so my phone was just ringing, so I'm assuming there's probably Trek reports coming through, but she's absolutely flying. Vienna Princess will also be there, who's in the last year her form has really improved and she's really come a long way. You've got Hinged, she's just a fantastic race mare. I think she's been placed at the highest level 10 times during her career. And then of course you've got 1,000 Guineas winner, or Caulfield 1,000 Guineas winner, Madame Pomeroy, whose first up run was fantastic. So but we're really excited leading into a Group 1, 4 live chances with 4 top jockeys on board, so looking forward to it. Let's hope they can all draw soft.
Isabella, thank you so much for your time this morning. Firstly, how have you settled in and how has the horse settled in?
We're both pretty good. We were just talking about it. It's my 4th time down here, so starting to feel like a bit of a local. And actually, for a horse that hasn't done a lot of travelling, Post Impressionist has travelled down remarkably well and settled into the routine of things really nicely.
What was it about this horse that made William say, "Yep, you're perfect for Sydney racing, let's go over"?
I think he's got a kind of similar profile to your likes of Favourite Moon, and not quite Protagonist, but sort of he's the same type of horse. You know, he's an older gelding with a good temperament. He should stay a Sydney Cup trip nicely, so kind of makes him ideal to come down and have a go. He's also, one of the kind of beautiful things about him is he's not that ground dependent, so whether it kind of shows up a bit soft or if it is a bit quicker, he's not like an Adabe or a Dubai Honour where you're wanting a wet track. He'll kind of go on anything.
Speaking of the likes of Adabe and Dubai Honour, of course, they've had so much success out here. They've been fantastic. Are there any characteristics with Post Impressionist that remind you of those, or is he a different beast altogether?
I think actually he reminds me a bit of Adabe, that kind of very laid-back attitude, and you know, he sort of thinks it's all great fun so far, and you know, you're trying to kind of keep him up to his work because he's been a little bit lazy, but. No, I think that the temperament thing is huge when you're travelling these horses, and he seems to have the right frame of mind for it.
What type of work has he done so far, and how is he finding the sort of flatter and tighter track here in Sydney?
We've just been taking it really easy, to be honest. As with previous years, I always try and stay on the grass as much as possible. You know, these older geldings, when they've been trained in Newmarket for a long time, aren't always necessarily the best movers, and they seem to come down here and just really enjoy it. So yeah, he's starting to get the hang of it, and he's switching his leads nicely now and doing things right. So no, I'm very pleased with him.
You find that the grass here is a lot easier on their body when they're a bit older?
Yeah, definitely, and you know, even with those sorts of horses at home, we try and keep them on the grass where possible. You know, Dubai Honour will stay on the grass most of the time whenever it's open at home. So yeah, it's a kind of more natural surface, and they seem to enjoy it.
What is your favourite thing about racing in Sydney? You mentioned you've been here a couple of times now. Is there anything, the biggest standout for racing in Sydney?
I shouldn't say winning, but
you can.
It's always nice to come down here and win. But I love the atmosphere at the races. You know, it's great. I suppose your climate really helps, but these big festivals are so much fun, and so many people turn out, and I think that's a real draw.
You'll be the 2 runs then?
Hopefully, yeah. At the moment, the plan is Manion Cup and then Sydney Cup, but he's in a few other races as well. He's in the Tancred, I think he's in the Chairman, so yeah, there's always the possibility for change, but at the moment, Manion Cup, Sydney Cup is the plan.
He possibly wasn't going to be the focus of this trip. He's got a little bit riding on him with Williams' record here.
Yeah, he has a bit, and you know, he's not quite sort of to the same standard as a Dubai Honour or a Adabe, but you know, we're hopeful for a couple of big runs from him, and you know, he's owned by Aussie Connections now, so that kind of helps. You know, he's where he needs to be, so yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm very happy with him for the moment, and yeah, fingers crossed for a couple of big runs.
How do you deal with the pressure?
I'm running a lot, which kind of helps. But yeah, I actually struggle to watch the races live. But yeah, I suppose it's just one of those things, and it's fun. You know, it's supposed to be. It's an entertainment industry, and back to your sort of question about what I like so much about Sydney racing. You know, it feels like an entertainment industry down here, and yeah. So I guess trying to keep that in mind rather than sort of putting too much pressure on yourself.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.